First High Observer Nexor watched the battle recordings for the seventh time, mandibles clicking in frustration as she studied the final moments before the human vessel, UES Dauntless, surrendered to the Kraxan fleet. Something wasn't right. "Play it again," she commanded, her crystalline eyes fixed on the holographic display. "Focus on their shield harmonics during the final voyage." The scene replayed. The Dauntless, a mid-sized human cruiser, limping through space after a prolonged engagement. Its once pristine hull now bore the scars of Kraxan energy weapons, venting atmosphere in dozens of places. Yet there was something peculiar about how it moved, how it fought. "Freeze frame," Nexor ordered, rising from her command chair. "Engineering analysis. Explain why a vessel with supposedly crippled engines executed that precise of a turn." Senior Engineer Vextel stepped forward, his exoskeleton clicking against the polished floor. "High Observer, our initial assessment suggested desperation, but reviewing the data." He paused, mandibles twitching. "The energy signatures don't match known human patterns. It's as if they were deliberately limiting their reactor output." Nexor's antenna bristled. After 3 years of war with the humans, this was their first intact capture, a prize that should have been impossible given human protocols of self-destruction. Yet here it was, secured in the Empire's most advanced research facility, waiting to yield its secrets. "What have the preliminary scans revealed?" she demanded, turning to face the assembled research team. "Confusion," High Observer admitted Chief Researcher Talzak. "Their technology, it's contradictory. We found quantum computers alongside mechanical gauges, neural interfaces next to manual controls. It defies conventional advancement patterns." "Elaborate." "The humans appear to have deliberately maintained or even installed archaic systems alongside their advanced technology. At first, we assumed it was due to resource limitations or technological inadequacy, but," Talzak's voice trailed off. "But the integration is too perfect. These aren't backup systems. They're primary control mechanisms designed to function independently. It's as if they built their ship expecting to lose access to their advanced technology at any moment." Nexor moved closer to the holographic display, studying the Dauntless's exterior. "How many boarding teams have we sent?" 3, High Observer. All report similar findings. The ship's internal layout appears inefficient, with numerous redundancies and what seem to be deliberately oversized corridors and access points. "Seem to be." Nexor's tone sharpened. "We've discovered that many bulkheads and panels conceal additional systems or emergency equipment. The humans have essentially built a ship within a ship, one that can continue functioning even with catastrophic damage to its primary systems." Nexor's attention shifted to a new figure entering the command center, Security Director Kralvor, his usually immaculate carapace showing signs of recent combat. "Report. High Observer, we've lost contact with Research Team 2, Kralvor announced, his posture rigid. They were examining what appeared to be the ship's secondary computer core when their signals ceased. "Ceased? How?" "The vessel has been thoroughly swept for active systems or traps." "That's what concerns me, High Observer." The team's final transmission mentioned discovering what they called a mechanical logic engine, some kind of computational system that operates without power. Nexor felt her scales tighten, a primitive instinct warning of danger. "Quarantine that section immediately. No more teams enter the vessel until we've completed a full spectrum analysis of every system we've documented so far." "There's more," Kralvor continued. "We've been analyzing the crew logs. The humans, they were laughing during the final moments before abandonment, not the behavior of a defeated enemy." Nexor turned back to the battle footage, watching it play through once more. The Dauntless's erratic movements, its seemingly desperate maneuvers, the gradual shutdown of its advanced systems, all of it looked different now. Not like a ship being defeated, but like one executing a carefully choreographed performance. "How many of our research vessels have we committed to this project?" she asked suddenly. 17, High Observer. all of our most advanced analytical platforms. All gathered in one place, Nexar whispered, her antenna going rigid as the implications hit her. All focused on one human vessel that practically surrendered itself. She spun to face her command staff. Order immediate withdrawal of all personnel from the Dauntless. Lock down all data transfers. Nothing leaves that ship's containment field until... The emergency alerts began screaming before she could finish. Throughout the research facility, systems began shutting down, but not in the chaotic pattern of a catastrophic failure. No, this was methodical, precise, like the closing of a trap. And somewhere in the darkness of the captured vessel, ancient gears began to turn, counting down to a revelation that would change the Kraxan Empire's understanding of their human adversaries forever. Security Director Kralvor moved through the darkened corridors of the research facility, his bioluminescent patches providing the only light. Around him, the Empire's most advanced technology lay dormant, defeated by what his ancestors would have considered primitive mechanics. Status report. High Observer Nexar's voice crackled through his emergency communicator. A device that hadn't seen use in generations, now their only reliable means of communication. The shutdown is complete, he responded, watching his team of security specialists examining the facility's systems. Whatever the humans planted in that ship, it's spreading through our network like a viral thought pattern. But... He paused, mandibles clicking in frustration. Speak freely, Director. It's not destroying our systems, High Observer. It's changing them, rebuilding them. Several of our quantum processors have been converted into what our engineers are calling discrete computational arrays. They're slower, less efficient, but what? But we can't shut them off. They operate independently of our power grid, processing data through some kind of mechanical means we don't fully understand. Nexar's silence spoke volumes. When she finally responded, her voice carried the weight of revelation. They're not trying to destroy us. They're trying to teach us. In the ship's engineering section, Chief Researcher Talzak had made a discovery that challenged everything the Kraxan thought they knew about technological advancement. High Observer, you need to see this, he transmitted through his own emergency communicator. Nexar arrived 20 minutes later, accompanied by a guard detail. Talzak led them to what appeared to be the human vessel's main reactor control room. Look at this, he said, indicating what appeared to be a primitive mechanical device mounted alongside the quantum control interfaces. What am I looking at? A mechanical computer, thousands of years old in design. We thought it was a backup system, but it's not. It's their primary control mechanism for the reactor. Talzak's appendages moved with excitement as he explained. The humans built their advanced systems around these mechanical cores. When our viral attacks compromised their quantum systems, these took over seamlessly. But the efficiency loss, Nexar began, is irrelevant, Talzak interrupted, his enthusiasm overwhelming protocol. High Observer, we've been approaching this all wrong. We assumed the humans were behind us technologically because they clung to these mechanical systems. But look at this. He directed her attention to a series of diagrams they'd discovered, showing the integration of mechanical and quantum systems. They're not behind us. They've moved in a completely different direction. While we pursued pure efficiency, they pursued pure reliability. They didn't abandon their primitive technology. They perfected it. Across the facility, similar revelations were emerging. The humans hadn't built their ship with multiple redundant systems. They'd built it with multiple complementary systems, each designed to take over when others failed. What appeared to be structural inefficiencies were actually carefully designed failure points, allowing sections to be isolated and repurposed as needed. High Observer, a new voice crackled over the emergency channel. We've discovered something in their medical bay. The medical bay, like the rest of the ship, defied expectations. Alongside advanced regeneration chambers and neural repair units sat what appeared to be ancient surgical tools, scalpels, bone saws, and other implements that belonged in a museum. Their medical logs, the researcher explained, show regular drills where their medical staff practice operating with these primitive tools. They maintain the skills to perform surgery without any powered equipment. Nexer moved through the medical bay, her crystalline eyes taking in every detail. "They prepare for everything," she murmured. "Not just system failures or battle damage, but the complete loss of their advanced technology." "There's more," Kralvor added, joining them. "We've analyzed their training protocols. Every crew member is required to maintain proficiency in both advanced and primitive operations. Their engineers can calculate trajectories with mechanical computers. Their medical staff can perform procedures by hand. Even their weapons." He gestured to what they'd initially dismissed as decorative wall panels. Under closer inspection, they revealed carefully concealed weapon lockers containing both energy weapons and what appeared to be chemical-propelled projectile weapons. They never abandoned anything that worked, Nexer realized. They just kept building, adding layers of technology without becoming dependent on any of them. The facility's lights flickered, and for a moment, ancient backup systems hummed to life. Systems that seemed suspiciously similar to those they'd found aboard the human vessel. The virus wasn't just spreading, it was transforming their technology, teaching their systems to operate in new ways. "High Observer," Talzak said quietly, "I don't believe this ship was meant to be a weapon. It's a message. The humans are showing us what we've forgotten in our rush toward advancement." Nexer turned to face her assembled staff, their bioluminescence casting eerie shadows in the dim facility. "No," she replied, her antennae quivering with understanding. "It's not just a message, it's a choice. They're offering us a choice." But before she could elaborate, the emergency channels erupted with urgent reports. Throughout the facility, systems were beginning to reactivate, not with their usual quantum precision, but with the steady, reliable rhythm of mechanical operation. And in the depths of the human vessel, something was awakening. Something that would reveal the true purpose behind this elaborately staged surrender. In the crew quarters of the UES Dauntless, Senior Engineer Vextal made a discovery that would reshape the Kraxan Empire's understanding of their human adversaries. It wasn't advanced technology or weapon systems that caught his attention. It was a simple leather-bound book. "High Observer," he called through the emergency channel. "I believe you should examine this personally." When Nexer arrived, she found Vextal surrounded by personal effects from the human crew's quarters. The leather book lay open on a makeshift analysis table, its pages filled with handwritten notes and sketches. "It appears to be the personal journal of their chief engineer, Sarah Martinez," Vextal explained, his appendages moving with barely contained excitement. "But it's not just technical notes. Look at this entry." Nexer leaned forward, her crystalline eyes adjusting to the human handwriting. "Tommy's first day of school today. Missed the video call because of the reactor alignment, but Maria sent pictures. He's wearing the miniature engineer's uniform I had replicated for him. While running diagnostics on the auxiliary power systems, I had an idea. If we modify the power distribution grid to mirror the adaptive learning patterns I've observed in Tommy's neural development." The entry continued, describing a revolutionary improvement to the ship's power systems, inspired by watching a child learn to walk. "This is not an isolated incident," Vextal continued, gesturing to other personal effects they'd discovered. "Every crew member's quarters contains similar connections between their personal lives and their innovations. Throughout the ship, similar discoveries were being made. In the tactical officer's quarters, they found combat maneuvers sketched on the back of children's artwork. The ship's doctor had developed new emergency medical procedures based on observing how her garden plants adapted to stress. It goes against everything we believed about military efficiency," Security Director Kralvor commented, examining a wall of family photos in another crew member's quarters. "We removed emotional attachments from our warriors, thinking they were a distraction. The humans embraced them as inspiration." Nexer moved through the quarters, her perspective shifting with each new discovery. In one room, they found a musical instrument, a violin, alongside modifications to the ship's sensor arrays based on harmonic resonance. In another, A collection of ancient paper books about Earth's oceans had inspired innovations in the ship's waste recycling systems. They don't compartmentalize, Chief Researcher Talzak observed, joining them. Their emotional connections don't weaken their focus, they strengthen it. Every personal item here is linked to an innovation, an improvement, a new way of thinking about old problems. The evidence was undeniable. Where the Kraxan sought perfection through pure logic and elimination of emotional variables, humans had achieved breakthroughs by embracing their emotional connections and drawing inspiration from every aspect of their lives. High Observer, a junior researcher, called out, "We found something in the ship's community spaces." The common areas of the Dauntless revealed another layer of human innovation. What appeared to be recreational areas doubled as training facilities. Gaming systems ran complex battle simulations. Exercise equipment was arranged to maintain crew readiness for manual operations. Even the dining area contained hidden emergency control stations. But it was the walls that told the real story. They were covered with a mixture of personal photos, technical diagrams, and crew achievements. Awards for bravery hung alongside children's drawings. Technical commendations were displayed next to family celebrations. They don't just allow these connections, Nexer realized. They celebrate them. Every emotional bond, every personal attachment, becomes fuel for innovation. As if to emphasize her point, they discovered a holographic message system in the main crew lounge. When activated, it displayed thousands of personal messages exchanged between the crew and their families. But interwoven with stories of home and expressions of love were technical discussions, new ideas, and creative solutions to ship's problems. This isn't just a warship, Talzak said quietly. It's a community, a family. Every improvement, every innovation comes from their connections to each other and to their homes. Nexer was about to respond when an alert sounded from her emergency communicator. Throughout the facility, the transformed systems were displaying new patterns. The virus that had spread through their network wasn't just changing their technology. It was changing how their systems interacted with each other. High Observer, Kralvor's voice crackled urgently through the channel. You need to see this. The virus, it's not just a program. It's teaching our systems to communicate, to cooperate, like a community, Nexer finished, her antennae quivering with understanding. The humans aren't just showing us their technology. They're showing us their way of life. But as the research team continued to unravel the layers of human innovation, none of them noticed the subtle changes taking place in the ship's supposedly dormant quantum core. Deep within the Dauntless, a final message was preparing to reveal itself, one that would challenge everything the Kraxan thought they knew about the nature of advancement and the true source of human strength. Security Director Kralvor stood in the Dauntless's command center, his bioluminescent patches casting an eerie glow across the supposedly dormant consoles. Something about the ship's surrender had been bothering him since the beginning, but only now was the pattern becoming clear. Play the final transmission from the human captain again, he instructed the analysis team. The holographic display flickered to life, showing Captain Alina Chen's last message before abandoning ship. To all Kraxan vessels, the UES Dauntless formally surrenders. We hope you find what you're looking for. Remember, sometimes the best teacher is your enemy. Freeze, Kralvor ordered. Analysis of her vocal patterns and body language. Sir, one of the analysts responded, mandibles clicking nervously. She's smiling, not the expression of a defeated commander. Before Kralvor could respond, High Observer Nexar's voice crackled through the emergency channel. All research teams, report to the main analysis chamber immediately. We've discovered something concerning. In the analysis chamber, Chief Researcher Talzak had assembled a timeline of the Dauntless's last battle. Displayed in holographic detail, the ship's movements, system failures, and crew responses painted a picture that grew more disturbing with each passing moment. Look at the pattern, Talzak explained, his appendages gesturing at key points in the battle. Every system failure, every tactical retreat, Every apparent malfunction, they weren't random. They were choreographed. Explain, Nexer demanded, her crystalline eyes fixed on the display. They deliberately exposed certain systems while protecting others. Their retreat path brought them precisely to this research facility. Even their power fluctuations. Talzak's voice trailed off as he pulled up another display. They matched the resonant frequencies of our containment fields. Senior Engineer Vextel stepped forward, adding his own findings. The virus that spread through our network. It didn't originate from their quantum systems. It was embedded in the mechanical computers we thought were primitive backups. We brought it in ourselves when we tried to analyze them. Throughout the facility, the transformed systems continued their steady mechanical operation. But now, watching them work, the research team began to notice something else. The new operational patterns weren't random. They were forming connections, creating networks that bypassed the facility's quantum infrastructure. High Observer, a junior researcher called out, "We've detected unusual activity in the ship's quantum core." "Impossible," Vextel responded. "We completely isolated it." "No," the researcher insisted, "not from the core itself, from the space around it. The quantum field is changing." Nexer moved to the quantum analysis station, her antennae rigid with tension. The readings defied conventional physics. The quantum field wasn't radiating outward as it should. It was folding inward, creating patterns that shouldn't have been possible. "Cross-reference these patterns with all known human technological databases," she ordered. "Already done," Kralvor responded, stepping into the chamber. "No matches. But—" he hesitated, mandibles clicking rapidly. "We found references to these patterns in their creative works. Their art, their music, their stories." "What are you saying?" "They're not just teaching us technology," Talzak interjected, his voice filled with dawning comprehension. "They're teaching us how to think differently. Every system we've examined, every innovation we've discovered, they're all based on finding connections where we saw only separation." The facility's lights flickered again, but this time the pattern was different. The mechanical systems weren't just maintaining power, they were creating new circuits, new pathways that shouldn't have been possible with such primitive technology. "High Observer," Vextel called out urgently, "the quantum field distortions, they're accelerating. And—" he paused, checking his readings again. "They're synchronized with the mechanical systems. The humans didn't just build redundant systems, they built systems that could evolve." Nexer stood in silence, watching as the facility's transformed systems continued their inexorable evolution. The humans hadn't just anticipated their technology being captured. They had planned for it, designed it specifically for this purpose. "We thought we were studying them," she said quietly, "but they were studying us. Every discovery we made, every system we analyzed, it was all part of their plan." "But why?" Kralvor demanded. "Why go to such lengths?" Before anyone could respond, the quantum core's containment field began to pulse with a new pattern. Throughout the facility, both the original and transformed systems responded, creating a cascade of synchronized operations that no one had thought possible. "Because," Nexer realized, her voice barely a whisper, "they're not trying to defeat us. They're trying to save us. The question is, from what?" The answer began to take shape as the quantum field distortions reached a critical point. Deep within the Dauntless, in systems that had appeared dormant, a final program activated, one that would reveal the true purpose behind humanity's elaborate deception, and the real reason they had chosen this particular moment to share their unique perspective on technology and innovation. The message, when it finally came, wasn't delivered through the quantum core or the mechanical systems that had so fascinated the Kraxan researchers. Instead, it appeared as a simple holographic projection in the center of the analysis chamber, Captain Elena Chen, her expression grave but determined. "To the Kraxan Empire's research division," she began, "if you're seeing this message, then our gambit has succeeded. You've spent enough time studying our ship to understand how we think, how we innovate, how we survive. Now you need to know why we chose to share this knowledge with you. The hologram flickered, expanding to show a star map of the galaxy. Particular regions began to glow with an ominous red light. 3 months ago, our long-range quantum sensors detected something approaching from the galactic core, something that makes our war look like a children's game. We call them the Void Hunters. They don't seek territory or resources. They hunt advanced civilizations, specifically those dependent on quantum technology, and they're heading straight for this sector of space. High Observer Nexar's antennae went rigid as the implications sank in. Around her, the research team watched in stunned silence as the hologram displayed the movement of these entities, massive structures that seemed to consume the very fabric of space-time. Your civilization, with its complete dependence on quantum systems, would be their perfect target, Chen continued. We knew you wouldn't believe a warning from your enemy, so we had to show you another way. Everything about the Dauntless, every seemingly primitive system, every redundancy, every adaptation, was designed to teach you how to survive what's coming. The facility's transformed systems hummed in perfect synchronization now, demonstrating exactly what the humans had been trying to achieve. They hadn't just created hybrid systems. They'd developed a way to maintain technological civilization without complete dependence on quantum technology. Director, a junior researcher called out, "We're detecting massive quantum disturbances at the edge of our space." The readings, they matched the human predictions exactly. The virus we planted in your systems, Chen's hologram explained, isn't just teaching your technology to operate differently. It's teaching it to hide, to adapt, to survive. Every mechanical system we helped you develop is another chance for your civilization to continue even if your quantum technology is compromised. Security Director Krelvor moved to a monitoring station, his mandibles clicking rapidly. The transformed systems, they're creating some kind of quantum camouflage. The entire facility is becoming invisible to quantum scanning. We could have kept this knowledge to ourselves, Chen continued. Could have let the Void Hunters destroy you and solve our war for us. But that's not who we are. Humanity has survived countless near extinctions, not just through technology, but through cooperation, through teaching others how to survive alongside us. Chief Researcher Telzak's appendages moved in excitement as he examined the data streaming across his displays. The hybrid systems, they're not just hiding us. They're creating a new kind of quantum field, one that exists in harmony with mechanical operations, something the Void Hunters have never encountered before. You have a choice now, Chen's hologram stated. You can reject what we've shown you, cling to your pure quantum technology, and face the Void Hunters alone. Or you can embrace a new way of thinking, one that values survival and adaptation over pure efficiency. One that understands that true advancement comes not from abandoning the old, but from finding new ways to use everything at our disposal. Nexar stepped forward, her crystalline eyes reflecting the holographic light. You're proposing an alliance. Chen smiled. We're proposing survival. Together, we could be strong enough to face what's coming. Your understanding of quantum mechanics combined with our adaptability and redundant systems, we could build something new, something neither of us could achieve alone. Throughout the facility, the transformed systems continued their work, creating an ever-expanding network of hybrid technology that bridged the gap between quantum and mechanical operations. In orbit, the first of the Void Hunters' probe ships appeared, their quantum sensors searching for signs of advanced civilization, and finding nothing but apparently primitive mechanical operations. The choice is yours, Chen's hologram concluded. But know this, when the Void Hunters arrive in force, humanity will stand and fight, whether we stand alone or together. We've uploaded the full data on the Void Hunters to your systems, along with our proposals for joint defensive operations. The next move is yours. As the hologram faded, High Observer Nexar looked around at her research team, at the facility they had thought was compromised, but had actually been transformed, at the human vessel they had thought was captured, but had actually been their salvation. Send word to the Imperial Command, she ordered, her voice firm with conviction. Tell them we've learned something invaluable from our human captives, something that changes everything. In the depths of space, the Void Hunter's probe ship moved on, unable to detect the sophisticated hybrid technology developing beneath its sensors. And in a distant human fleet, Captain Elena Chen received a brief quantum transmission, a single word in the Kraxan language that meant both understood and together. The war between humans and the Kraxan Empire hadn't ended that day, but something far more important had begun, a partnership that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what it meant to truly advance, to survive, and to thrive in a universe full of unexpected challenges. The humans had gambled everything on their enemy's ability to learn, to adapt, to grow. And in doing so, they had proven that sometimes the greatest victory comes not from defeating your enemy, but from teaching them how to become something more than they ever imagined possible.